again to Garden Wise Adventures. Today we're going to do another plant of the week, and it's going to be rosemary. Now, I live in Utah in Zone 5B. You know, sometimes if you look at the zone maps it says we're in Zone 7, but it is actually a Zone 5B. It gets really cold, so any Zone 7 plants are not going to survive. But I have been able to winter over for many years some of this Zone 6 plants, and rosemary is one of them. This is my rosemary plant. It's an ARP, which is one of the hardiest rosemaries out there. And this one has been in the ground for approximately 10 years, maybe even 11. Now, this plant, I'm going to show you in a little bit, is huge. It has done very well. There has only been one winter where it had dieback. It was a dry winter, it was a cold winter, and there was no snow cover. And it died back about 3/4. So the next year, I was really afraid to lose it because I love this plant because it has survived for so long. It had died about when it was died back 3/4 when it was about 6 years old. So to help it survive a little bit longer, what I did is I think it's called stooling. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But what I did was I would show you a branch here. I would take a branch like this that was connected to the plant, a bigger one. I scraped the leaves off of one of the areas that could have contact with the ground. I scraped it so you could see the green. And then I buried that section into the ground and pegged it down with a garden staple so it wouldn't move. All of those areas have rooted. If I wanted to, I could cut them off and have new plants. I did that just in case the main body of the plant died, and then I'm hoping that if that happens, that one of those other rooted areas would survive so I can keep this rosemary going. Now, in reality, if this plant does die, I could always start over again and plant another one. One of the other reasons I think this rosemary has survived and done so well with very little winter damage is it is on a slope. And if you think about cold air is a little bit like water. It flows, so it will flow down hillsides and it will pool in the lower areas. This is in an upper area with hillsides so that the cold air flows past it. Also, it is facing west so that it gets a lot of sun, and this area warms up faster than most of the rest of my yard. So let's look closer at my rosemary, and I wish I had smell-o-vision because it smells absolutely gorgeous. So here's my rosemary. Is starting to mix in a little bit with my catmint. But rosemaries also bloom, and they bloom in early spring. Sometimes it'll start, if it's not too cold, in February. Let me see if I can find one of those rooted in areas. Okay, so the main body of my plant is back here. If you can see right there, it developed some roots where it touched the ground. Now this plant has rooted into the ground in several areas, so hopefully that will protect it if we get a really dry, cold winter. Really dry, cold winters are what kills this plant. Let me see if I can pull this plant out of the way, or this branch out of the way. You have another branch that has rooted into the ground. So this is a way that you can help protect your rosemary plants. In reality, if we have a really dry, really cold winter, I could stand losing this entire plant. But then again, we would just start over. So I challenge you to try and grow some rosemary. They're gorgeous. You can use them in cooking. They're just a beautiful landscape plant, and they do quite well here in Utah as long as you get the correct varieties. Just look for ARP or any other hardy rosemary variety. I'm not sure if there are any other than ARP. I haven't heard of any that have survived Utah winters, but if you find one, let me know which variety it is. Even though our garden adventure is starting to come to a close for the year 2019, we still do have a few more great things that we can accomplish. So go have a wonderful garden adventure.